Let's face it, there is a lot of unpleasantness in this old world of ours. There are unpleasant conditions, there are unpleasant situations, and there are quite a few unpleasant people, although sometimes they are not as unpleasant as at others. The optimist who cheerfully assures you life is just a bowl of cherries neglects to add that some of the cherries may be sour. Marcus Aurelius, one of the wisest rulers of the Roman Empire, wrote in his diary, I am going to meet people today who talk too much, people who are selfish, egotistical, ungrateful. But I won't be surprised or disturbed, nor I couldn't imagine a world without such people. How shall we handle these unpleasant conditions, situations, and people? They fall into two general classifications with all sorts of variations in between. We shall consider only the two extremes and let the handling of variations follow the solutions of the major classifications. First, there are the unpleasant conditions, situations, and people about which little or nothing constructive can be done. Of course, something probably can be attempted about almost anything, but it often isn't worth the effort. Just because you are not getting anywhere by butting your head against a stone wall is no reason to increase your efforts and butt your head against the same stone wall even harder. There are those who will exhort you to persist in overcoming all obstacles to achieve your goal no matter what the cost. I suggest that it is more intelligent and productive to reach a sound judgment concerning how or even if you will proceed in a certain endeavor. It could well be that the same amount of effort might produce much more results if directed to other objectives. So, let us assume that you are involved in an unpleasant condition or situation or with unpleasant persons, and you have decided that nothing constructive can or should be done. That does not cause the unpleasantness to vanish. It still remains, or for your own peace of mind, you will have to deal with it. Here is how. First, take the wise advice of William James of Harvard, the father of applied psychology. William James, who taught his students, be willing to have it so. Acceptance of what has happened is the first step in overcoming the consequences of any misfortune. And let me add that advice includes acceptance of what how is happening and cannot reasonably be prevented, and also what may be expected inevitably to happen in the future. Be willing to have it so. Don't fight it. If you can't beat it, accept it. Be willing to have it so. Then adjust. When fate closes one door, faith opens another. Seek the open door. And let's consider the other kind of unpleasantness which is a problem that can and must be solved. The following method is positively effective in solving all kinds of problems, not just unpleasant ones. It might be well to mention here that most problems as such are not unpleasant, but primarily are stimulating. Certainly, that should be your attitude towards all problems. For many years before I retired, I was president of a multi-million-dollar advertising agency. We used what we call the problem approach method in working for 102 clients. That simply means that we approached every situation assigned to us as a problem to be solved. Naturally, we made a continuous study of all the best methods of solving problems. Here, in condensed form, is the most effective method of solving problem. 1. Write down exactly what the problem is. Don't just think about it, write it down. Write it down exactly, precisely, concisely. Remember that Charles Kettering, the great inventive genius of General Motors, said, "A problem well stated is a problem half solved." Second, write down exactly what are the causes of the problems. Get the facts. Get all the facts. Be sure the facts are exact, clear, objective, and impartial, not selected to bolster some preconceived opinion. Especially if you do have a preconceived opinion, be sure that you get all the facts that do not support your prejudgment as well as those which do. Herbert Hawks of Columbia University taught, half the worry in the world is caused by people trying to make decisions before they have sufficient knowledge on which to base a decision. If a man will devote his time to securing knowledge in an impartial, objective way, his worries will usually evaporate in the light of knowledge. So get the facts. Be sure you know the exact causes of the problem before you try to solve it. Write down every possible effective solution. Be sure each possible solution of your problem is the impartial result of trying the case from both sides by first pretending you are the lawyer trying to case for the solution, then imagining you are the lawyer trying the case against the solution. Then, if the solution still appears to be effective, include it in your list. 4. Decide definitely which solution to put into effect. If you have carefully analyzed the pros and cons of each solution as recommended in the preceding paragraph 3, then your final decision should be relatively easy. If it is still difficult to decide, and if you have time, feed all your possible solution into your mental computer, that is subconscious mind, and let it work on the solution in its own way for next few days and nights. Meanwhile, relax. The best solution will soon become clear and definite in your mind. Then decide that is your best solution and that you will put it into effect, forgetting all others. Then comes 5. Start immediately to put that solution into effect and persist vigorously. All the previous steps will get you nowhere unless they end in immediate, definite, and vigorous action. And once you begin to act, don't look back over your shoulder. Go right ahead. See it through. You will never get better instructions than from famous William James, who taught, when once a decision is reached and execution is the order of the day, dismiss absolutely all responsibility and care, in bracket anxiety, about the outcome. If you have consciously if you consciously put into effect all the preceding steps, 5 steps in this problem solving method, you can be sure the outcome will be very satisfactory. To know how to effectively handle the inevitable unpleasant conditions, situations, and people which are the part of every life, and to be able to successfully solve the problems which constantly come your way, will make you master of the most of life's situations and difficulties. That knowledge now is in your hands.